Hey, what's up, guys? DVG124 back with another album review, and I'm here once again with Orange Abomination.
Hey, what's up, guys? Orange Abomination.
And today, this is the one that we've been waiting for. We are reviewing The Fury of the Aquabats, the most critically acclaimed Aquabats album that's really put them on the map, set them off. Some of their best hits of all time, potentially their best album of all time, released in October 28th, 1997, 16 tracks, 51 minutes in length. Great listen, absolute great listen. We're gonna go through every single track and rank each track on a scale of 1 to 10 based on how we're feeling on it, and then at the end of it, rank the overall album on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's get into it. Starting off this album, we have Super Rad, and this is the most popular Aquabat song of all time. It's potentially one of the greatest Aquabat songs, best quality-wise, everything. This song, starting off this record, is unbelievable. This song, there's not enough things you could say about it. You could just go on and on about this song, Super Rad. And, I mean, I could just glaze this all day. Orange Abomination, what do you have to say about the song Super Rad?
To put it in basic terms, it's, first of all, one of the best songs by the Aquabats ever, and also because it's a perfect representation of what the Aquabats is all about. Their whole vibe,
Mm-hmm.
all of that.
It's like a. You could almost say it's like the Aquabats anthem, you know?
hmm
You hear Super Rad, then that. You think of the Aquabats.
Yeah.
It's
If you're
truly
a,
incredible.
if you're a new
Mm-hmm.
Aquabats fan, this is the first song you listen to. This is the one you start off with.
Mm-hmm. Without doubt, this is Star Lord's favorite song for a reason. Can't
hmm
blame him. This is incredible. Like I said, we're ranking these on a scale, every song on a scale of 1 to 10. See where we were at with it. And like the first record, Return of the Aquabats, it started off really fucking strong. And this one just cranked it up to, like, cranked it up really, really much this time. Because I gave this one a 10 out of 10 for Super Rad, starting off. And Orange Road Nation, what would you give this out of 10?
I'm giving it a strong 10.
Exactly.
You
Can't.
can't give it anything else.
It's a 10 out of 10 without a doubt.
You have to give it a 10.
Now, following Super Rad, one of the best Aquabat songs of all time, the stakes just keep getting higher and higher. This album keeps getting more and more incredible as we go on, with the second track on this album being Red Sweater. Incredible. Incredible storytelling. Uh, I mean, Orange Abomination, what would you say about the song? I know you probably like the song a little more than I do.
Yeah,
We
I'm
probably rank it the
quite
same,
a big
though.
fan of this. Yeah, because the storytelling, what the story it tells, it's just immaculate. No comparison to it, except there's maybe a couple songs that have better storytelling or like storytelling compared to it, but the storytelling in Red Sweater is just amazing.
Truly. I mean, just the way it sounds from the production. It's mixed well. It's mastered well. It's produced extremely well. The horns. You can't go wrong with the horns, especially in the '90s. The '90s for the Aquabats, they didn't miss with the horns, the drums, everything. It just came together so well. The Bat Commander's voice was on point, and I give this a strong 10 as well. Two strong tens in a row. Starting it off really, really strong. A very strong start. What would you rank this out of 10, Word Abomination?
If I could, I'd give it an 11, but I can't, so it's strong 10.
Strong 10. Awesome. Okay, next up, the third track, following Super Red and Red Sweater. Not as strong. Not as strong at all. Not bad. Definitely not really much of a skip. But we got Magic Chicken. Not a big fan of this one. Not bad by any means. It kind of veers off and goes a weird and maybe you could almost say wrong direction towards the end. Um, not necessarily hating it. Definitely not comparable to the first two. Uh, I'm giving this a decent 6 out of 10. What would you say about it, Orange?
Uh, Pretty much all the stuff that DVG said, mostly covered most stuff I was gonna say. It's pretty good overall, but it goes way off course, and they start talking about singing about random stuff like 3/4 in, and it just really throws me off. So overall, wouldn't skip it. At least not until the part where they just lose track of what they're even talking about. Then maybe I'd skip at that point. But overall, I give it a decent six.
Decent six. Next up, we have following that we have Fight Song, and keep in mind, Fight Song isn't a no lyrics, no lyrics. Not super long in length. It's a lot of action. It's literally music you would play, that you would see in like a show or movie as there's a
Almost,
fight going on.
it's almost like it's a fight song.
So, very entertaining actually. Considering there isn't any lyrics, this is considered like an intermission skit type of thing. I I gave this a decent eight. I give it 8 out of 10. You gotta respect it. And they were doing this back in the Return of the Aquabats, but it wasn't. It just wasn't to this capacity where it could keep you entertained and completely content and fine without lyrics. This fight song, 8 out of 10. Um, Very entertaining. What would you say about it, Orange Foundation, for fight song?
Mhm. I'm a pretty big fan of fight song. It's pretty good, but it's an intermission song that's just put there, has no lyrics. So overall, I'd give it a decent eight. But if it had lyrics and wasn't just a intermission song, I'd maybe give it a strong nine. But
Strong
overall,
nine,
I'm
yeah.
getting a decent eight, not decent six, decent eight.
Next up, following fight song, we are back to the lyrics. We're back going strong with the full production and song. We have Cat with Two Heads. And this is continuing, keeping things strong on this album. So far, there really hasn't been much of a skip. Um, that this album, this song, Cat with Two Heads, it isn't comparable to Super Red or Red Sweater. Um, so it's kind of maintaining this like a few levels below that, but it's doing it pretty well. It's sticking to this certain formula that's working, and honestly, I'm feeling a light to decent eight. Or wait, what did I say? Yeah, 8 out of 10 on this one. Cat with two heads. What'd you say on this Orange Abomination?
Yeah, overall, it's a good song, but it just isn't different enough from any of the other songs on the album. Like it sounds pretty similar to songs like Super Rad, and then some other songs that are coming up that we'll get to later. Won't say them right now. Don't want to spoil it, but still a good song. So I'm giving it a light 8 out of 10.
Next up, following Cat with Two Heads, we really get back strong in this album with an absolute banger, one of the best Aquabat songs of all time, and we have the story of nothing. God, this song is so chaotic. It's this crazy mess that just sounds so amazing, from the horns to the lyrics to the catchiness of the chorus. It just works so well. It's one of the more surprising ones, from how like tangled up and how like chaotic it can be sometimes, but it just works so unbelievably well. So, so far, it sounds pretty fucking good. We got a third 10 out of 10 on this one. This is the third 10 out of 10, following Super Red being a 10 out of 10 and Red Sweater being a 10 out of 10. The Story of Nothing is a 10 out of 10 in my book. What would you say on this one, Orange? 2, 1, and go.
But yeah, overall, story of nothing. It's all over the place. Like, there's a good and bad way of going about having a chaotic song that's just all over the place with no rhyme or reason. Story of Nothing does that, and it does it perfectly. So I'm giving it 10 out of 10.
Hell yeah, and
De
that leads.
decent to strong 10.
It's amazing. Next up, we have Captain Hampton and the Midget. Pirates. One critique, okay? This is where the just it kind of just levels out a little bit because it can't be perfect, right? I mean, this is pretty close to being perfect, to be honest. There hasn't been a bad song yet, but the only real true critique I have on this, it just sounds quite a bit like some of the others. Magic Chicken, Cat with Two Heads, um, Powdered Milk Man. A lot of these just sound so similar. Isn't it can't it not every time it's a bad thing, um, but it's just tough to go back and re-listen to this album over and over and over again when some tracks they sound similar. Um, don't hate this one at all. Just the quality is still there. I was feeling a light 8 out of 10 on this one. Maybe high 7. What would you say on this one, Orange?
Not all the songs can be absolutely perfect because if they're all perfect songs, then none of them are perfect because then they're all going to be exactly the same. So you got to have some that are not as good, but it's still good, just overall decent. So I'm giving it stuck between either a strong 7 or a light 8. I'll give it a light 8 out of 10.
Light 8 out of 10. There we go. Next up, we have Martian Girl. And for those of you who watched the last review, Martian Girl was, I believe, the second track to actually open up the Aquabats debut album. This one has been remastered, re-recorded, remade to the highest of high quality, and it has only gotten better. We ranked it a 10 then, and fuck, it's a 15 now because how do you improve on a 10 out of 10? They fucking did it. They fucking did it. It's incredible. Martian Girl, the storytelling, the creativeness. I mean, the way sometimes the commander his lyrics, it makes you think you're like just flat out just reading a story, just reading a book. Like that's how vivid some of this is. It's like you're there. You're living it yourself. You're living it yourself. That's how vivid and descriptive and like how incredible his storytelling is. I gave this a 10 out of 10 then. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 now without a doubt because it's only gotten better. What would you say on this one, Orange?
And you know what I think about songs with good storytelling like Red Sweater. They're my favorite songs ever are songs that are story focused. Martian Girl is story focused and
Hmm.
it's got a great story about the Martian Girl coming to Earth to come eat people. So I give it a strong 10 out of 10.
Strong 10 out of 10. And
Let's go
now
next one.
it's amazing. Next up, we have Attacked by Snakes. Now, this one, very chaotic. Basically, just it's. I mean, this one is just really crazy at times, chaotic. Nothing like this. Not it's not like the story of nothing. It's more something similar to Cat with Two Heads. Something like that. Um, Not a whole lot to say about this. A little forgettable, to be honest. I'm feeling a high 7 to a light 8. I'd say 8 out of 10. What would you say on this one, Orange? Uh,
To
Attacked by
me,
Snakes.
Attacked by Snakes, to put it in simple terms, to me, it feels like the poster child to Story of Nothing. It's trying to be chaotic and all over the place, but it just doesn't quite hit the mark like Story of Nothing did. But still, they do a good job at it, just not to the degree of how Story of Nothing did it. So overall, I'm giving it a light 8 out of 10. Let's go to the next one, which is this one's a classic, Idiot Box.
For those of you who don't know, this one was also originally on the Return of Yaku. That's their 1995 debut album. And I believe I gave it a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 then. Remastered. It's actually, they actually sped it up a little bit in this version. And this one's similar to Red Sweater. Uh, Wait, am I thinking the right one? Idiot Box? Can't. Nope, that might be Plato. But this one has some great storytelling. Looking back, seeing where you are now, it's a It's only gotten better. 2 years later, remastered, uh, fit for a more modern era. Idiot Box, I gave it a decent 10 out of 10. What do you think on this on Idiot Box Orange?
Mm. Overall, not much else for me to say that either DVD didn't say just now or that I didn't say in the last video about the original version Idiot Box. So, just gonna get straight to the point. You already know I'm gonna say it's a strong 10 out of 10.
Hell yeah. Alright, next up we have Powdered Milkman. And this one, another one, very chaotic, very crazy. Horns, drums, everything going all together. And overall, this is these types of songs are really building this album. Um, there really hasn't been a bad song yet, and that's unbelievable for this only being their sophomore album. The amount of improvement we're seeing in 2 years is incredible, and this is only their second album. They're only a few years in. They still have they still have nearly 3 decades later. So, feeling a 9 out of 10 on this one, light nine. What are you feeling on this one, Powdered Milkman?
And not much to say about Powdered Milkman that DVG hasn't already said. So overall, I'm giving it a decent 9. Now let's go to the
Decent
next one. The
nine.
next one, we got My Skateboard.
My
Take it
Skateboard.
away.
This one. When you listen to this one, after listening to the album from start to finish, you get to this one. It's like a breath of fresh air, because if this song was a chaotic, like crazy song like Attacked by Snakes, Powdered Milkman, Captain Hampton, Story of Nothing, Cap Two Heads, if it was one of those types of songs, you would just you wouldn't be intrigued, you wouldn't be focused, you wouldn't like it, because it's just the same formula over and over and over again. You like to see them take risks and do something different. In this song, they do. Very, it's lower down. It's not so crazy, and it works so well. I originally had this as a 7 out of 10, but after listening to it a second time in one day, I thought, God, this is incredible. I'm feeling a decent to strong 9 on this one. What are you feeling on this one?
Again, similar to what DVG said, a lot of the album is very chaotic and all over the place. Like Cow Two Heads, Captain Hampton, other stuff like that. They're all over the place, but My Skateboard, it's different. This song has class. It's very defined, and it's different enough, and it's so good. So I give it a strong 9. Let's go to the next song.
Okay, next up, following My Skateboard, another intermission, instrumentals type of song, no lyrics. We have Phantasma del Mar. Um, really, no storytelling, obviously, no lyrics. But it not bad. Keep you entertained for a little bit. Not as entertaining as Fight Song. Um, but the instruments tie together really nice. I'll go an 8 out of 10. What are you feeling on this one, Orange?
Phantasma Del Mar, I like. My favorite part about it is the strings. It just makes it sound so different. It makes it sound nothing like, especially in the very beginning. It doesn't even sound like an Aquabats song the way the strings are in the beginning. But all the instruments, they tie really well together and make up for it not having lyrics. But again, still doesn't have lyrics, so can't give it a 10. So I'm giving it a decent 8.
Following that, potentially one of the weakest tracks on this album. Our first, what you could say, a miss to potentially a skip. Just not really giving much, not adding. It's not adding anything. If in fact, if you could almost say it's taking away from this album, we have Lobster Bucket. Not, not, not a big fan on this one. It doesn't add anything to this album. I feel like almost every track on this album so far has added something of value to the table. Lobster Bucket, I don't think it did. I think it takes away. I gave it a strong 5, light to light 6. What are you feeling on Lobster Bucket Orange Combination?
Honestly, there's not really much to say about Lobster Bucket. There's nothing really interesting about it. There's nothing like horribly bad about it either. So there's really not much for me to comment on. So I'm gonna leave it there and just give it a decent 5 and move on.
Moving on, Lobster Bucket, the second to final track on this album, theme song. This is the song's not even 2 minutes, but theme song is pretty much it's a storytelling one. It's introducing and revealing how the Aquabats came to be and their backstory, the lore in 2 minutes. And I think it does it really nicely. I mean it's a short song, not I mean the storytelling's nice. It shows how they came to be, and I think it's great. I gave it a 10 out of 10. How are you feeling on it, Orange?
Again, like what DVG said, it's only about 2 minutes long. It's really short, but what it does with those 2 minutes is just immaculate. The storytelling is one of the best. It's especially good if you're a fan of the Aquabats Super Show, since it gives the origin stories to all of the Aquabats. So if you watch the Aquabats Super Show, then you definitely should listen to this song. So, and me personally, I enjoy the Aquabats Super Show. I think it's a good show. So I'm giving this song, I'm giving it a decent 10 out of 10. Not a strong 10 out of 10 because not everyone who listens to the Aquabats necessarily watches the show, but a lot do. So I'm giving it a
Hmm.
decent 10.
And that leaves us with the final track on this album, Play-Doh. This song was originally on The Return of the Aquabats. It was remastered, everything for this album. And I gave it a 10, I think I gave it a 10 out of 10 on that one. One of the few 10 out of 10s. Started out the album for Return of the Aquabats. This one's finishing the album. And God, it's only gotten better. It's only gotten better. This one's a storytelling one. Uh, I'll, I'll just flat out say it. This is another, and ending off the album a 10 out of 10. You start off the album on a 10 out of 10, end it on a 10 out of 10. That's incredible. The first one didn't do it. This one did. Give it a 10 out of 10. Orange Rob Nation, what do you think on it? Go. Feel free to go more into what you liked about it and the lyrics and the content inside. So I know you like the storytelling ones.
Yeah, again, storytelling, like all the other ones. Big fan of the storytelling songs. This one, great storytelling, Play-Doh. The instruments, they tie together really well too. Just all of it, it's just amazing. It's even better than when they did it the first time, because this song was revamped from, I believe, which album was it again? I'm
The Return
blanking
of the
out right now.
Aquabats.
Yeah, Return of the Aquabats. They did it even better on this album, arguably. So I'm gonna give Play-Doh a strong 10 out of 10. And that is it for the album. That's it for the album
Incredible.
review.
I just counted up. We have 6 flawless 10 out of 10 tracks. Orange Rob Nation, what was your least favorite track on this album?
My least favorite track overall, it's got to be Lobster Bucket. It
Lobster
just
Bucket.
there's nothing interesting about it, good or bad. Not I wouldn't say any of the songs on this album are necessarily bad. It's just by process of elimination, Lobster Bucket is the worst song.
Hmm. My least favorite, Lobster Bucket. It's the lowest rated one I have on here by a whole point by all of them. And yeah, I mean, yeah, gotta go Lobster Bucket. Orange Rob Nation, your top 3 favorite tracks.
Top three favorite tracks. Okay, so number three, we've got to go Story of Nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and then number two, we're going Martian Girl,
Mm-hmm.
and then or actually no,
It's tough. Don't forget Red
Change
Sweater.
Story of Nothing to Super Rad. It's like picking your favorite kids. It's
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 tough.
tough. Love all of them, even the ugly ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, number three is gonna be super rad. You gotta put that in your
Mhm.
top three. If you don't, you have to. It's just the rules. And then number two, Martian Girl, and then number one's Red Sweater.
My top three favorite tracks. Gotta go. It's tough. Gotta go with the classics: Martian Girl, Red Sweater, and Super Rad, easily. And so yeah, for the overall album rating on the scale of 1 to 10, the big rating, we ranked the first one as 6. Pretty obvious that this one's gonna be higher. What would you say? What would you rate this one on a scale of 1 to 10? Orange Nation.
I'd say there's many bangers, many 10 out of 10s, but it is held back a little bit by a couple of songs that aren't up to comparison, like Lobster Bucket and stuff like Magic Chicken and some other songs that aren't as good, but they are still good. Just by comparison, they kind of hold it back a little bit. So overall, I'm giving the album final ranking strong 9, light 10 maybe. Actually, light 10.
For my official album rating on this one, this is an album, one of the monumental albums in music history that really makes you think and remember why you love music to begin with. I mean, the love and the passion that went into this is out of this world. I mean, the way they start this album from Super Rad, going strong, maintaining this level of intensity, bringing every single track up until the last track, Play-Doh. One of the best albums I've ever heard. Arguably one of the best Aquabats albums of all time, ever. Um, Definitely an improvement from the last one, the first one, the Return of the Aquabats, which we gave a 6, and I'm giving this a 10. So that's gonna do it. Go watch Orange Abomination's review. See ya.